We announced it last hour, some lineup changes here at KCMO Talk Radio. Our good friend Kevin Keatsman is starting Kevin Keatsman Uncanceled, 10 to 11 a.m., starting today on KCMO 95.7 FM. And then Dan Bongino will start his show 1 hour early at 11 a.m. So Bongino from 11 to 2 after Kevin Keatsman Uncanceled. So what happened to our buddy Ray Stevens? Well, nothing but good news for Ray Stevens, who wanted to spend a few minutes joining us and also saying goodbye to the KCMO audience. So, Ray, good morning. How are you, brother? What's going on?
Man, I am good. I'm doing well here after Thanksgiving. I was telling Mark, he asked me if I got any deer while I was hunting over the weekend, and I said, my son hunts a lot harder than I do, and I may fall asleep more times than I stay awake in my deer blind, but I had a good weekend. And, Pete, when I had a chance to come work for you at KCMO, it was because my time was up in Chicago, and I needed a place where I could hang out, do my craft, groove in a little bit. And you were nice enough to let me fill in from time to time and then, come out here and do the 10 to noon shift. And I don't think without you that I'm in the position I'm in today. And that is I got a sweet morning gig at WLS AM 890 in Chicago, which is part of this company that owns KCMO, and I've been back there for a little bit, and it's a job that, as you know, requires a lot of time and preparation, and to do it right, you've got to be out on the street doing a lot of the things that you do, back the blue tours and things like that, and I'm stealing a lot of the things that you do and bringing it back to Chicago. And in order to do that, I have to have my full focus on a city of which I come from, which is Chicago, that desperately needs somebody that can come here, speak the truth, and try to, in some way, steer this town that is on a path that sometimes feels like it's headed for hell. It needs help, and I've been called on to be that guy for this radio station in Chicago, and I had to do it.
Well, I totally understand it. We totally understand it. The audience, I'm not sure if some of them will understand it. They're going to be pissed off, but that's just how it goes in radio sometimes. But either way, I'm very happy for you. You know the KCMO and Cumulus family is very happy for you as well. And I think it makes all the sense in the world, my man. So what do you want to make sure that you share with this audience as you say goodbye, at least for now?
Well, this radio station, your radio station, KCMO, man, it picked me up when I needed a hand. And I got to groove in with a lot of listeners. As a matter of fact, some of your listeners are probably going to call you and say, hey, this Ray guy reached out. And I made some calls to some of the listeners personally that impacted me and listened to some of their stories. And, Mark and Shawnee is one of those guys who was greeted us that day. We did a meet and greet at the Yeti Tavern, and his story is unique. And I talked to him. I'll miss Stephen and Casey, Carolyn Olathe, people that called each and every day that love this town, that understand the intricacies of it much better than I ever will. And, for me, in a station like KCMO, it's got to be uber local. And, you put Keatsman back in here to do this hour, a guy that knows his town and loves it as much as anybody. That's so important to a craft like radio. I mean, I know Chicago, Pete, like you know Kansas City. I know the intricacies. I know everything that goes on here. And I need to be able to convey that. You do that. Kevin obviously will do that and continue that. But for these listeners to have embraced me and let me come out here and take part in the beauty of the city, the awesomeness of the way you guys tackle football, local politics, and just that feel of people that are like-minded, I can't say thank you enough. And I really, if you need me to help you out in any way, Pete, if Kevin needs help with somebody that can come and do an hour if he can't make it in for the day, I'm here for you, because this radio station means a lot to me. I can't tell you how much you and the listeners mean to me.
Well, let me ask you this, Ray. This might sound like it's an interview question, but I'm genuinely curious here. What is that thing over the last, 15 months that you've been doing the show on KCMO that you feel prepared you for the job there at WLS, even though you know the town? I mean, doing the show itself. What's something that you learned about yourself over the last 15 months that you are now going to apply to the gig in your hometown?
The thing is when you come to a town that you don't know and you have a guy like Mark Van Sickle that can help you with, things as goofy as pronouncing a street, somebody that can help you groove in that way, and then you can learn about what goes on with the Gene Peters Bakers and the Jackson counties, and you can understand it from a newbie's standpoint, grasp it and try to convey it, and then do that at a level where you hope you're doing a good job. I think you can take that and then take it to this town where I know everything, and you can the craft that the 2 hours at Kansas City, a city that I didn't know when I came out here, to take everything I learned from you, and not to go too inside baseball, but we've had some people that help us from time to time, guys like our friend Mike Wheeler. I can take that and just be better in Chicago because of what you guys and what we did together as a radio show. I mean, sitting here for 2 hours, basically, Mark would be my guy, and he would come in and we would have our fun. But basically, when it's you and the listeners, it's just a craft that unless it's like a baseball player. You're taking hits and cuts every day, and it makes you better for it. And your leadership too, man. And I don't have to kiss your ass. I appreciate you as a friend. I appreciate you as a boss. You're very good at what you do. Donna Baker, this Kansas City radio station is run as good as any in a society and in a radio situation of these days where it's not what it used to be. And you guys do it at a level so high that, and that is every radio station in the Cumulus cluster in Kansas City. You do it so well that it makes you proud to be here. And I just want to take some of the work ethic that you have, and I want to bring that back to Chicago because they need it.
Well, it helps that we don't have George Soros looking over our shoulder like the guys across the street do. That does give us a little bit of a leg up. I'll just leave it at that for now. So let me ask you this then, Ray, as we put a bow on the conversation and what is next for you. What are you going to miss most about this town and everything you've covered here over the last year and a half or so?
Man, I tell you, what I've said all along, and I'm a guy that's kind of been left behind by the wokeness of the NFL, but to watch the way the Chiefs and the Chiefs fans operate is a joy. And I know it hasn't always been that way for some of the older Chiefs fans that struggled, but to watch the way you guys embrace it, the way you do it, it really is, as a guy that looks at the Chicago Bears as a failed organization. I'm going to miss that, but I will tell you, I will miss the listeners of this radio station because they would bring it. You had to be on your toes whenever they would call. Even the folks like the Lunatic Larry in Prairie Village, right? Those are people that listen to you because you offer something to them. It might not be what they want to hear, but you're offering something to them. So every listener matters, and I will honestly miss the guy that's working on the other side of the glass from you. Mark Van Sickle is a guy that made my transition into Kansas City very easy. He helped me so much while I was here, and I'll miss him. And I can't impose upon you enough what this 2 hours meant to me, and I just want to thank the listeners for that because where I come from, Chicago radio doesn't like outsiders. They do not like outsiders, and I quite honestly didn't know what it would be like to be a guy that came in from the outside and came here. It was just a couple, 15 months, right? But it was an important 15 months, and I honestly believe if it's not for KCMO, I'm not back in the chair at one of the premium morning gigs in America. WLS is a legendary heritage, huge station in a top 3 market, and it needs to be as good as the morning show at Kansas City, and we're going to try to do that.
Well, we are thrilled for you, my friend. This is a win-win-win for everybody involved, and don't be a stranger. You know how to get a hold of us. If you want to see some winning football, just hit up Mark or myself, and we'll get you taken care of. It's a short flight down to watch some winning football.
Dude, it is so bad here in Chicago. It is such a joke. They can't even use a timeout effectively. I mean, this is what we're dealing with here. And you look at the team, and it's kind of a microcosm of what the city's become. And we can't allow one of America's great cities to keep going down the drain. So hopefully we can kind of put her back on the path of righteousness in some small way. But, hey, if you need me, I'm right here, brother. You
All
know
right.
that. You got me, man.
Mark, what do you got for us?
Last time we looked for the 45 flag. Now we can look for the 47 flag out of the tailgate.
That's right. That's
What a day.
right. That's right.
That was such a good day. That was my first Chiefs game, and Mark goes, just look for a Trump flag and tell them who you are.
And it worked, right? You guys are getting free booze and food all day.
You know what? And we made friendships, and I got to tell you, I know you made the announcement at 8:30, Pete, because my phone started blowing up with people from KC giving me their personal emails and phone numbers and saying, "Hey, keep in touch." So that's what podcasting and Sirius will never be able to do.
I agree.
To have the connection that you have with an audience, to be here every day, and Pete, you know it as well as anybody. You work your ass off in that town, and that's what we do here as well. And I couldn't do them both and give it the love that they needed. And radio means a lot to me. It's given me everything I have. So I just I need to be at my best and give it 100%. And I didn't feel like I could do both.
Well, good luck, my man. You know that we'll be in touch, and we'll talk to you soon, brother.
Hey, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, brother. You know we love you, man.
You as well. Ray Stevens on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM.